I signed an esports contract without reading it.
I sat down with SypherPK, one of the faces of Fortnite with his own icon skin, and he spoke to me about how he makes $13 million a year off of Fortnite.
I would say YouTube ad revenue is like the biggest thing. Yeah, it's the biggest.
That was in a 2-hour podcast on my channel. Today, me and Sypher are sitting down, and I'm going to ask him some awkward questions.
Do you think your content would survive if Fortnite died tomorrow?
Some more uncomfortable questions and some fun things as well.
There's only so much ignoring you can do before you lose your temper.
This is 20 questions with SypherPK, the legend of Fortnite. Enjoy the video.
All right, what's the most money that you made in 1 month?
Most money in a month, probably sometime last year, between $1.5 million to $2 million. But to be completely honest with you, I think last month and this month, like it's shaping out to be like maybe a little bit more.
Wow, and that's from YouTube.
YouTube, live streaming, merchandise, Fortnite creative, sponsorships.
It's amazing, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What's the first word that comes to mind for these Fortnite streamers? Okay, we got Clix,
Pro,
Ninja,
Bossy,
okay, Courage,
Friend.
Tfue.
Honestly, the first word is GOAT.
Okay, that's high praise.
Yeah, especially for his time, you know.
Yeah, Nick A30.
Friendly.
If you could box one streamer or YouTuber, who would it be? You know, you had your big
Yeah, like
You're
actually
massive
box.
now.
We're not talking about Fortnite boxing, right?
backs. Yeah, you could Fortnite box all of them, right? But who would
yeah.
you box?
I feel like with my height and size, there's not a lot of people that fit my weight range. I haven't thought about this too much. I'm clearly not a boxer.
You and Ninja showdown?
Ninja's like half my weight. Like I'm.
Yeah, he's tall, but you're right.
Yeah, he's like half my weight. If I want an easy win, I'm taking Ninja. Nah, even Nick A30 is a lot smaller than me. I really don't.
6'4"?
I'm 6'4". Everybody else is either like half my weight or half my height. Like I actually don't know. Like if you guys have,
I think you and Ninja breaks 1 million viewers live.
yeah, I mean people want to watch him get beat up. Sure.
Let's make it happen. All right, what's one video or stream moment that you wish you could erase from the internet?
Oh, you know what? This is really good. I've only ever had one moment where I kind of like regret how I acted on stream, and people to this day like make TikToks about it. So it was just to give some context. I'm playing with my viewers. We're doing like custom Fortnite games, and I'm practicing for the Fortnite competitive tournament that's coming up. So we're just doing some custom practice, and there's a few people in there that were just like, it was solos, and they were kind of teaming and stream sniping, trying to ruin the integrity of the practice, right? I turn the other cheek a lot of times, ignore comments, whatever. But for some reason, I wanted to invite this person onto a voice call and start talking to him. And I'm really angry. Like I'm the most angry I've ever been. And I'm yelling at this kid. And at the end of the day, he was a kid. Yeah. I think I was 22. So this happened 5-6 years ago. 22, 23. And kid was probably like 16, 17. He's trolling. I'm really angry. I'm yelling at him. And it just didn't come off that good. Like I obviously lost my temper. At the end of the day, it's not something that like I completely regret, because it's like I can look back and be like, oh dude, like these days I'm rarely ever like giving someone a platform that's trying to troll and hate. I just ignore it. And that's the best way to go about it. There's only so much ignoring you can do before you lose your temper. But I think it taught me like, just to control my temper and not give trolls a platform. And it also kind of turned into a meme. There's like TikToks about it with like millions of likes.
Dude,
and
it's always on my feed.
Yeah.
I don't
me
know
crashing
why.
out. Yeah.
I don't know why I've seen it so much on my people keep posting. Yeah.
And it's like it's what it turned into a joke now.
Yeah.
But for that to be my one moment where I kind of like, I went a little too far, or I regret it. I mean, like I'm pretty happy because I've been creating content for over 10 years now. Yeah. And people have had much worse moments.
Yeah,
it's just me being upset. And that's such a human being reaction to being messed with for like a long period of time. Yeah. You're going to crash out every once in a while when you live stream.
If that's your only crash out, I respect it.
Thank you.
If you're live 8-10 hours a day, and
this
people
was
are always stream sniping people, I would have went crazy by now if I was you.
No, this was during like grind time. I must have been live like 12 hours on that day, crashing out like 12 hours into my stream. You know?
I think that context is important because
The context is that's the thing I regret is the context is lost.
Yeah.
Over time, all the context is lost.
Yeah.
The kid himself, like after that clip ends, he felt bad. He apologized. He's like, you know what, man, me and my friends, we were just trolling, and you know, I just wanted to say I'm sorry. He ended up getting unbanned from my Discord. He started practicing normally and whatever. So that context is removed.
Yeah.
The other context of him actually like teaming and you know messing with the whole practice for like 3 or 4 hours, that's not there either.
Yeah.
People just think I just had like a spark and just crashed out on some
Yeah.
random kid for no reason.
Yeah.
You know, so
It's all good. I think you're right.
Thank you.
If that's your worst thing, we're good.
yeah.
Right. What's your worst fan experience?
I've been very fortunate not to have any crazy fan experiences. I would say, you know, there's been a few times where maybe people in my neighborhood have come to my house to get a picture, and it's just probably they see me running around or like in the yard and they recognize me, and that's not terrible. It is a little bit like a personal boundary where it gets a little too much. I think one time there was a fan that I met at TwitchCon. This was a few years back, and like it was a grown, you know, adult, and he was telling me that he wanted to become a streamer, and he was trying to get me to like confirm that I was going to host him. Like when I got back home, I was going to stream and then give him a raid, and like he wasn't like taking no or like we'll see about it. Like he wanted to like set up a time and day on the spot. I was able to kind of just tell him what he needed to hear, because I was trying to tell him, like, you know, this is not how it works.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of content you make. It's a responsibility when I send my viewers over to you. And he was just like being a little bit pushy.
Yeah.
He even showed up to like my meet and greet for my clothing brand, and it was like, it wasn't a meet and greet. It was more like me at the cashier selling the merchandise.
Yeah.
So people would come up, they would say what's up, but you kind of had to buy something.
Yeah.
It's not like we were forcing to buy. It's just
Yeah,
like
yeah,
we,
no,
a
it's a
moment.
store, yeah.
Yeah, it's a store.
Yeah.
And we were capturing content. So when he came up to the line and he wanted to continue the conversation, so he bought 20 shirts.
Oh my god.
So that I'm going through and I'm scanning every shirt and packaging it, and he's talking to me about me hosting him, and now I feel bad because he just spent God knows how much on 20 shirts, and I'm just like, man.
Loki, he had the method though. I'm not gonna lie.
He was persistent. He was persistent.
Yeah, that's funny. Okay. What's your biggest financial regret?
Biggest financial regret? Okay, so this is a good one. I signed an esports contract without reading it.
Okay.
It was my first ever esports contract. You know, it wasn't even like malicious or anything. I was very much a small streamer on the rise. I was probably like 1,000 average viewers. I got an email from a few different teams, right?
Yeah.
It was like FaZe,
Yeah.
TSM, and like a handful of people, because like they were scouting. Fortnite was like an area where a lot of people were exploding, and at this point, you know, you had your ninjas, your TSM myth. You had a few people like on the come up, like they already exploded, but there was more people like on the horizon. Like at this point, Tfue was still not known. Okay. Myself and a handful of other people. So a lot of esports teams, they were like looking for the next Fortnite star creator to sign. So I had a lot of offers, but like I actually, like the first offer I got, like I immediately signed. And then it was like a week or two late. Like before we even announced, I got an email from FaZe and TSM and all these other people. And I was like, maybe I should have waited a little bit. But then like that contract, I wasn't allowed to get sponsors. And at the time,
Really?
I didn't have any sponsors, so I didn't care. But really quickly, the sponsors were coming in, and
That's a weird
I
contract.
wasn't able, because I had to get sponsors directly from the team.
Okay.
But I will say this, that team, they were kind enough to renegotiate the contract. There were still some limitations, and I would say maybe it cost me like $200,000 in sponsored deals that I had to turn away, because maybe they conflicted with what the team sponsors were. But it was a very valuable lesson, right?
Yeah.
And listen, like you got to read your contracts. Forget reading your contracts. You got to get a lawyer to read your contract.
100%. Yeah.
An esport lawyer, someone who has like knowledge in the space, is even better. And that's what I ended up getting for any of my future, you know, team deals. And then also I got an agent to read any sponsorship deals. You got to have a lawyer or an agent reading your contracts, or else you know, you can be foolish and ambitious like I was and sign something that ends up costing you.
100%. It's a good story. Thank you. What's the most money that you invested into one video?
Most money I invest. So I'm not a Mr. Beast, right? So I would say probably. Oh, you know what? Never mind. I do have a very expensive video. Okay. So I did an animated series on YouTube.
I saw that video.
Yeah.
It did really well though.
It did really well.
Yeah.
But it did not make money.
Okay,
It did not profit.
Yeah.
So we did animation and we hired a full in-house animation team. There was probably in total between employees and contractors like 12 to 15 people involved in the animation process, from storyboarding to animating. And animation is expensive. It takes a lot of time. Mm-hmm. The quality of those videos were extremely high. We wanted to put out a really good product. I would say, you know, we probably spent in a year like $600,000 to $700,000 on the whole animation department, right? Like,
is that multiple videos though?
We did multiple videos,
Okay.
yeah. But our first video, because we had to onboard everybody and set up the process, which was it was the Fortnite, the story of Fortnite video, animated. That video, like, if you had to break it down, it probably costs $150,000 to make.
Yeah.
And that's only because it took us a long time, because that was our first one. We had to get everybody involved. We have to train them up and get the setup for. After that, we were cranking like one animated video per month.
Okay.
But even though that video has almost 20 million views, it's just barely breaking even. So I would say like that was the only profitable video. The rest of them were not profitable. And I was really sad. We knew it wasn't profitable before we even posted it, but it was like a passion project.
Yeah, yeah.
And we wanted to see it through and see if there was a way for us to go down different avenues. And looking back, like maybe there was a way to monetize better. Maybe we create merchandise or like products of the animated series, but it was just a lot.
Yeah.
That's not the only thing I'm doing. So
it's like a whole nother project.
It is.
Yeah, yeah.
If that was the only thing I was doing, we could have figured out a way. We could also have like lowered the quality of the animations a little bit, but we set such a high standard. We didn't really want to. We would rather stop it than lower the quality. Yeah. So we ended up pulling the plug eventually, but we put out some great videos that are still getting views to this day. So
awesome.
Very happy.
What was your reaction when you were asked to have an icon skin?
So I was invited to a meeting with Epic Games and a few of their people, and it wasn't like out of the ordinary. Like Epic does reach out ahead of time for new season launches, collaborations, potential partnership opportunities because they're working with a lot of people that they bring into Fortnite, and those brands want to work with the faces of Fortnite, the people who create content. So it was like a regular meeting scheduled with them, and there wasn't anything out of the ordinary. And then I just joined the meeting, and they were like, "Hey, Sypher, Ollie, hope you're having a great day. We really value all the stuff that you've done for Fortnite and the community, and we would like to know if you're interested in becoming the next Fortnite icon." The first thing I said was, I was like, "I'll have to think about it," and then I just let it sit for a second, and some of them were shocked, some of them were smiling,
Yeah.
and then I was like, "Nah, I'm kidding. Yeah, I want to be the next icon." So it was a year and a couple months process between that first meeting before the icon came out.
A year? Wow.
Yeah.
Like that long? Wow.
They schedule things out ahead of time.
Yeah.
They also had like one or two other icons come in before me that were also like in the pipeline. So
Yeah.
they want to space things out, but they do like to be ahead of schedule on that kind of stuff.
That's legendary, man. Congrats.
Thank you.
That must have been a hard year to hold that in.
Oh, there was so many times where I almost leaked it. Like there was a moment where I clicked my start streaming button, had my countdown going before the stream. Mic wasn't muted, and I'm in a Discord with my editor about to talk about the skin and about some trailer that we were cooking up. And just like for some reason, like we just never said the word icon skin or anything, but it was very generic.
Yeah.
And then my editor's like, "You're live. Like they can hear us. You're live." And I'm like, "Oh my God." But they didn't know what was going on.
Thank God.
And they actually thought it was planned. Like it was some YouTube content I was cooking
yeah.
up, and no one knew.
Oh my God.
But every single kid I met in that whole year, every single fan that came up to me and like asked, like, "Are you getting an icon skin?" I straight up told him I was getting one.
Oh,
And
really?
I told probably like a few dozen people, just random fans, that I was getting an icon skin. And my thought process was, who's gonna believe them?
Yeah. That's
Unless
awesome.
they get it on camera, like who's gonna believe them? So I just told them just to
That's
let them know.
they
early.
probably telling their friends. Their friends like you're capping.
Yeah, exactly.
That's dope. What's your biggest regret in your career so far?
Honestly, my biggest regret is early on in my career, I was really worried about making the jump to a bigger game. So I had been creating content since 2011, RuneScape. But full time, I started in 2014. It was on Elder Scrolls Online. I had become a Twitch partner. It became my full time job around 2015. And there were so many opportunities for me to transition with whatever viewership I had into a bigger game, into a bigger, audience. There was a moment where I was dabbling with H1Z1, but I would see that initial viewership drop from people who weren't interested in H1Z1, and it would scare me from committing. And then there was a moment where I had the opportunity to maybe transition into Overwatch, and I got top 500 in Overwatch. I felt like I was building up a community, but I was also worried about losing what I had built up. So that had happened a few times throughout between 2015 to 2017, mid 2017. And it was always me going from like small game, like big fish in a small pond, to big fish in a small pond, from RuneScape to Elder Scrolls Online, and then a game called For Honor. But then I finally just pulled the plug and just like made the leap of faith with Fortnite. I'm glad I did at that moment. But when I went to go play Fortnite, I went from 400 average viewers to a little under 100, like 70, 80 viewers. And to me at the time, it was a little bit scary because this was my full-time job. It was paying the bills. That's what was paying the bills. So if I have 80 viewers for 5-6 months, we're talking money problems, financial problems. And so like I was like, that was what was always keeping me from making that leap. But that came from doubt within myself as a content creator. Because I thought, okay, so I could probably make it in the smaller games, but whenever I go to the bigger league, whenever I play the game that has more viewers, more streamers, I feel like I'm behind. I feel like I'm not cut out for it. I don't have maybe the entertainment or the gaming skill to make it. I regret having that doubt in myself because I feel like I could have transitioned to H1Z1 when I did and built up an audience even bigger beforehand, and even had more momentum going into other games like Fortnite or Overwatch, for example.
Oh, okay. I mean, thankfully, everything worked out the way it did.
Yeah.
'Cause you never know, right?
You never know, yeah.
Yeah, cool. What advice would you give people who want to be a streamer?
My number one advice for someone who wants to be a streamer is to really ask yourself, do you enjoy the concept of making content and putting it out for people? Or do you just like the idea of playing video games for money? Because that's like two different things. And if you don't actually have a drive or a passion for creating content, you're probably not cut out to be a streamer long term. Once you get past that first part of like, what is your true intention? Obviously, like, you need to make money if you want to be a full-time streamer. But do you actually enjoy the process of content creation? And if you do, the second tip that I give is don't stream too much in the beginning. Because when you're streaming to under 10 viewers, most people are going to start off with 0, 1, 2, 3 viewers or whatever. You're wasting a lot of time. You're not really growing, and you're not really getting better at being a streamer, because who are you streaming to? Like the chat bot and like one of your friends? Like that's not where the streaming skill is coming into play. What you need to do is you need to become a better content creator. So you need to create videos, both short and long form, and stream like a couple of hours 2 to 3 times a week just to get that under your belt. It's all about that experience of just getting under your belt. But once you've grown your other platforms, TikTok, YouTube, both short and long form, and you kind of have somewhat of a following on those platforms, now if you can get maybe 20 or 30 people, 40 people, 50 people to hop on your stream, that's where you can start building your skill set as an actual streamer, because you kind of need the audience, right? I feel like when people are streaming to 1 or 2 viewers, they're not actually building the streaming skill set. They need to build up the audience first to get them there, then start building that streaming skill set with the first couple dozen people that watch your stream.
Yeah, it's really good advice, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Who's the most famous person in your phone?
Most famous person in my phone. Man, I feel like it has to be. Ninja.
I was gonna say he's.
Yeah, he's pretty famous. I'm trying to think if there's any like.
I'm sure you got a lot of like celebrities and athletes kind of.
I mean, Reggie Jackson. Me and him played in the Fortnite Pro Am, and we've texted back and forth a couple times since then. But I mean, is Ninja more famous than Reggie Jackson? He's pretty big. He's pretty massive.
He's pretty massive. You've owned multiple businesses. Is there anything outside of gaming that you're interested in?
I would say no, not really. I mean, right now, like, I do have real estate, but that's not interesting. That's just safe investment of my capital. And then I would say everything else is gaming adjacent, between content creation, between creating games in Fortnite through creative, and then just like helping other creators through mentorship and streaming, editing services, things like that, like what Oni Studios does. So I would say everything is pretty gaming adjacent, or just boring, just like real estate investment.
Do you think your content would survive if Fortnite died tomorrow?
I think I built up the skill set as a content creator to move on to another game if I needed to, if like, let's just say Fortnite died. But without a doubt, the viewership would decrease significantly. And that's just because I'm looking at the other content creators in different genres. I'm looking at Call of Duty. I'm looking at Apex Legends and Valorant. The cap for viewership is much lower. Fortnite just has such a wide audience, and I'm able to capitalize off of that. Honestly, like, I don't know what game I would really transition to, but I do know that I would do well. It just wouldn't be at the level that Fortnite is at.
What's your favorite Fortnite skin, other than your skin, obviously?
I would say my favorite Fortnite skin is the Naruto skin. It's one of my favorite characters from anime. There's the Naruto
On the floor.
I got a lot of Naruto inspired stuff going on. So I would say Naruto because. So I uploaded a video of me playing with the Naruto skin when it first came out. That video got like 1 million views, and it was kind of cool because it was like something I'm very passionate about that I don't really have in my content, but I was able to still bring it into my content and get that many people to watch and care about it. And sure, it's Naruto and Fortnite, so most of the pull came from Fortnite, but it was like two of my passions kind of coming together. So I'd say Naruto.
If you had to walk away from streaming tomorrow, what would you do instead? And YouTube.
If I had to walk away from streaming and YouTube, I would just retire. I think I've decided.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna. I would put more money away.
Okay.
Put more money in safe investments. Visit family. Join a basketball rec league. Work on my basketball skills, and just retire, just be done. I would definitely still be active, do a lot of things, but probably not work.
What's a sponsorship deal that you turned down but you regretted later?
There's no sponsor that I turned down and regretted. There's been a lot of sponsors that I've turned down, despite the money being great. I've had offers in 6 or 7 figures from gambling sponsors, crypto sponsors, and alcohol sponsors, and it's just like, for me, that's just a no-go. So yeah. I've turned down a lot of sponsors, but there's definitely none that I've regretted turning down.
Cool. What's something that you're deeply proud of but you don't talk about publicly?
Well, this would make me talk about it publicly. I am proud of the support that I've given my family, and I'm proud of the contributions I've made to charities and causes that I believe in. But I don't really ever talk about it or go into detail because it's just like, it's just something that I keep within,
Yeah, amazing. If you could swap careers with any other creator for a week, who would it be?
I would probably swap careers with IShowSpeed, and I think it's because of the global like impact that he has and the phenomenon that his IRL streams were. I feel like that looks like a lot of fun. It's not something I would want to do full time.
Yeah.
That's A-list celebrity attention, and wherever he went, he had mobs of people following him. But I think it would be cool to experience that for a week and try to do content like that for a week.
I think he is by far the most famous creator that's ever like come
Easily
Dude,
the
his
most famous
TikToks
creator.
have like 100 million views each. It's insane, man.
Between him and Mr. Beast, because like they both like established themselves globally.
Yeah.
I think everyone else is more like English speaking or whatever. You know, the Spanish speaking creators are also huge.
Yeah.
But he is a global phenomenon, and so is Mr. Beast. So I would say that those are like the
Yeah.
top two famous creators.
I think all love to Mr. Beast. I think he passed him. I never thought anyone would get near Mr. Beast, but Speed, I cannot believe how
Dude,
big
he had
is.
like 1 million live viewers on one of his streams, like in Indonesia.
crazy,
It was
man.
insane.
What's one moment from your past that you'd like to relive again?
One moment from my past that I would like to relive. Honestly, winning the district championship for my basketball team in high school.
Yeah.
I have fond memories of like being a basketball player in school. You know, my teammates, best of friends, grinding together, and the way we do sports, especially here in Texas. It's like I don't even remember going to school. It was more like going to practice because we did morning practice, the middle of the day practice, and after school practice.
Wow.
So it was like 5 hours, 6 hours of basketball every day, mixed in with some math and science. So all of that lead up and build up, and then we won the district championship first and last. So they haven't won since. So that was a very special moment. I felt like it was a very like a rewarding moment of me putting in 4 years with a group of guys and winning something and achieving something big.
When will you quit streaming or YouTube?
I would say that I plan to stream and create content at the intensity and pace that I'm doing right now, which is like near max for at least another 4, maybe 5 years. I would say after that, there would be a transition because at that point I would be about 32, 33. There would probably be a transition where I lower the intensity and lower the workload, but still am consistent. And then I would say 36, 37 years old, like it'd probably be time to just stop, like maybe stream once in a blue moon, maybe, you know, it's not like that's the age where it stops for you. It's more about like how long I've been doing it. And at that point, 35, 36, I would like to have a few kids and kind of focus in on the family side of, you know, being a dad and, you know, nurturing a family. And I think one of the benefits of being able to retire young is to really focus in on that and not be absent in that moment. So I would say 4 or 5 years at this pace, at this intensity, and then maybe 2 or 3 years after that of like a tapering off a little bit, and then probably being like done with it all. Maybe working on things and on the back end, more from a manager perspective, more like creative UEFN, maybe helping other creators, but not being the face of anything.
That'll be like 5 years or something like that.
Yeah, because I mean,
It's a long career. Yeah.
I mean, I'm straight out of high school into full-time content. Like just graduated, and then the next year I was streaming full-time.
Thank you. Appreciate it. This was cool.
Thank you.